we didn't look at for the past 2 decades.
If you look at the Middle East and the Gulf region, you could have had almost a full-fledged war with Iran that did not escalate. You have a new president in Syria, you have a new government in Lebanon, you have an unsolved challenge in Yemen, and you also have the situation in Gaza. What would you say is the biggest worries for you in the Middle East this coming year, and where are you most optimistic, with the exception, of course, the economy in Qatar is going really, really well, so we'll come back to that.
Well, thank you very much. Look, I mean, there are a lot of good things that happened last year that, you know, has been more positive to our region than negative, and I cannot deny that. As you mentioned, Syria, we have a president. In Lebanon, we have a new government. And, you know, there is, let's say, the war in Gaza almost stopped, but there are still, like, you know, we are still, unfortunately, see the killing continuing. But it's in a better place than it used to be. But it doesn't mean that, you know, the situation is already stable in the region or, you know, moving toward stabilization. It's until now there is a lot of uncertainty on what's going on, and what's worrying me really is, you know, the growing tension that's happening within this region, whether it's, you know, the remedies of Gaza war or what's happening with Iran and, you know, any other fronts in the region can, at any moment, can explode if we don't address it and, you know, think carefully about how can we look at our regional security architecture and come as a region together and, you know, start rebuilding the confidence among each other. Look, every country in our region needs to protect itself. I mean, and they have the right to protect itself because, you know, they don't reach to that conclusion unless they feel threatened. And there is something that triggers, you know, this sense of insecurity. I think we need to address those root causes, and the moment has come for the region to come together and to think about how can we reshape our security architecture. At least we ensure that we are not representing a threat for each other.
So we know that President Trump will, on Thursday, launch the Board of Peace, the second phase of the Gaza stabilization. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, look, you know, reaching the ceasefire deal itself was a great breakthrough that we had, of course. You know,
and congratulations to Qatar under your leadership, Egypt, and the U.S.
Oh, thank you very much. Regarding that, I believe that what we have been through has taught us a lot of lessons, and I believe that the Board of Peace is presenting a path, and President Trump has proposed this path to move forward. Now, you know, the first stage of the deal being implemented doesn't mean that the deal is done. We have a lot of work to be done right now, and I think that all the countries who are joining this Board of Peace needs you know, to work hard and to make sure that this Board of Peace is functioning in a way that serves the purpose and become a stabilizing factor.
And Qatar is on the board.
yes, we were invited to that board. Of course, we are happy to be a contributor to peace and stability in our region. Now, there are a lot of challenges in the implementation, but we have no alternative path to seek right now. I think that the most important thing right now is to ensure that Gaza is stabilized. We ensure that the withdrawal of the Israeli forces happening as soon as possible, and ensure that the people can get their life back as soon as possible. That should be the key focus for the Board of Peace.
Well, I just read that half of Gaza is still controlled by the Israelis and half of Hamas. Is that an accurate assessment or wrong?
It is actually. I think it's even more than half still under the control of the Israeli forces. There was an agreement, which defined a yellow line at that time for the first stage of the withdrawal. Unfortunately, this yellow line wasn't respected as it used to be in the map. More than 50% is already set as a parameters for the Israeli forces, and unfortunately beyond this parameter is creating a lot of tension points where it triggers from time to time live fire, killing of the people, and basically these events that's happening every day, the killing is just continuing. We have a ceasefire, yes, but it's not really a complete ceasefire where everything is peaceful. We are still facing those challenges, and we need to make sure that the Israeli forces go back and commit to the withdrawal in order to diffuse those tension points.
The humanitarian situation, is it better or the same?
No, it's still, if you compare it to last year, it's maybe better, but it's still it needs a lot of intervention. It's still a lot of humanitarian aid is not allowed to enter, because of dual-use materials and other restrictions. And we need to have unrestricted access for humanitarian aid for the people. Shelters are still missed there, and they need a lot. But we are working together very closely with our colleagues in the United States, Egypt, and Turkey in order to ensure that there is a mechanism that supports the technocratic government that's been just established for Gaza, in order to enable them to help the people and to deliver a better life for the people.
So maybe then go a little bit east. What do you think is the most likely scenario for Iran in a year's time?
Well, I cannot predict scenarios about countries. I think that what I just mentioned to you is very important. The region is going through a lot of tensions, and of course we cannot exclude what's happening in Iran and with Iran and from these tensions in the region. And I believe that with all this turmoil around us, we need to be more cool-headed and resort to wisdom. And I think that there are a lot of ways to find solutions that can address the problems and address the issues and provide us with the security assurances that brings us and the Iranian people prosperity in the future. And that's what we are aiming for. We always believe that there is a room for diplomacy, and that's been our approach in the state of Qatar, and we will always keep advocating for peaceful resolution. We need to understand that any escalation will have consequences. This being tried in Iraq 20 years ago and didn't work. I mean, until now, Iraq and the region is bearing the consequences of that.
And the Americans would probably argue that that's what they have learned from Iraq and Venezuela.
Well, Look, I think, I don't speak on behalf of the U.S., but we are in a continuous dialogue with them, and I believe the U.S. administration has been always engaging positively when it comes to attempts for finding a diplomatic solutions. And I believe, President Trump, he's a man of a deal, and he's the one who has helped us to put the whole deal together for Gaza and to get us through the finish line. And I think on the situation of Iran is not, it's not really difficult. It needs, like a multiple approach to address, of course, the nuclear issue and then the regional security issue. This is something that needs to be discussed among the region itself.
But Iran is also more vulnerable than it used to be, in the sense that when Hezbollah was stronger in Lebanon, Hamas also in Gaza, and Assad was in charge in Damascus, they had also more leverage. But they still do have leverage in the sense that they do have hundreds of thousands of ballistic missiles. So what I read in the newspapers, at least, was that, the whole Gulf, Saudi, UAE, and Qatar was arguing with Americans not to attack Iran due to the uprisings and also the killings that happened in the streets. Is that correct?
No, we didn't, actually. We are engaging with the Americans, with the Iranians. We don't want to see a military escalation in our region. We didn't argue with the American anything, actually. What we offer as a partner, as an ally for the United States is the honest advice about what's going on. And our honest advice that the best way forward is to find a diplomatic solution for the nuclear problem. We don't want to end up in a region that has a nuclear race, and we have seen how the world is shaking right now. I believe that there is an opportunity, and it is the right moment for us as a region to come together and to, make sure that we understand each other's grievances, we understand each other's concerns. We make sure that everyone feels safe and feel protected. That includes the Iranians, that includes the Palestinians and the Israelis, everyone in the region.
To move to another topic, but still in the region, we will have the Syrian president in Davos for the first time ever in the history. There are things happening there, so let's see, how that is unfolding. But on Syria, I think Qatar has been clear that this is progress. I think also Saudi Arabia has been of the same view. If you look at where Syria stand now and the perspectives, how do you see the